afternoon, everybody. What's happening, everybody? Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live here, rumble.com/LFATV, the best damn political news channel anywhere in the world. That I can tell you right off the bat. Day 4 of the LA riots. Look, guys, some people are very upset about this, but what you have to understand is in LA, these things happen like once a decade. You know, it's like Halley's Comet. You know it's coming. It's just a matter of when. It's just a matter of when. But Democrats continue to go out there and utterly beclown themselves, leaving the door open for Donald Trump to do exactly what is necessary, as 700 Marines are being deployed, have been deployed to protect federal buildings and federal workers. One of the strangest looking people on planet Earth, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, said, "I don't know what the big deal is, guys. There's no violence." She said that. Now, do I believe that Maxine Waters is unaware of the violence? I don't know. Maybe. She's like 80. You know, maybe she doesn't stay up for the nightly news anymore. But of course, we're going to make fun of her. The resident potato on CNN, Brian Stelter, has decided to inform everyone to watch out about the videos you see online, because they may give you a false narrative about what's really happening. You know, the car that's on fire, that's an optical illusion. It's actually just mirrors doing it. As David Copperfield used to say, it's just smoke and mirrors. It isn't real. As many real people, and I want to be clear, we're going to laugh today because I like to laugh at stupid people. That's kind of my modus operandi. That's sort of my raison d'etre, as some would say. But real people are being affected by this. Real people are having their shops destroyed. Real people are losing a whole hell of a lot, which is no laughing matter. However, Donald Trump has set himself up in a very, very serious way for what comes next. Gavin Newsom, of course, Karen Bass have backed themselves into a corner, as Democrats tend to do. But before we get started, guys, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Share this video out all over the place. We are rocking. We are rolling here. Also, big announcement. Oh, what the hell happened here? Big announcement, everybody. For everybody in the Florida area. For everybody in the Tampa Bay area. I don't know what else is around Tampa Bay, but, you know, I don't know what else is around Tampa Bay, but if you live near Tampa Bay, I will be in Tampa Bay July 11th, 12th, and 13th for the Turning Point Student Action Summit going on in Tampa Bay. If you are in the area, please do, please get a ticket. Turning Point USA is a great organization. They do phenomenal work, and I can't wait to go down and see all of my summer camp friends, which is kind of what Turning Point turns into. So if you guys are in the Tampa Bay area and you'd like to meet me, hopefully your favorite host on LFA, I know that's probably not true, but I'm going to keep saying it because it makes me feel good. Come on down, Turning Point Student Action Summit, July 11th, 12th, and 13th. Oh, yeah. You'll see a lot of people who have been on the show before, a lot of people who are going to be on the show leading up to it. It's going to be a hell of a time, so make sure you guys check that out. Also, for my local viewers, this Saturday, Kings Park Street Fair. Come on down. We could certainly use all the help volunteering, show you guys how local elections actually work. Many people think it's about fighting on Facebook, but it isn't. It's about doing actual work. So if you're one of those people that in the town of Smithtown that just talk shit on Facebook all day long, maybe come on down and do some actual work. It'll be great. Come on down. You're the next contestant on Get Your Friends to Vote Early. Guys, hit the thumbs up button. We're rocking. We are rolling. Before we jump into the show, Old Glory Bank.
When big banks decide who gets access to America's financial systems and who doesn't, who do you think gets left out? Middle Americans who proudly wave their pro-America values. Cancel culture in banking is corrosive. It limits your participation in a vibrant, free market economy. Fortunately, you can fight back. You now have the opportunity to invest in the bank that's investing in a fair American banking system, one based in freedom. Ownership in Old Glory Bank, the pro-America online bank, is here. Old Glory Bank is a full-service FDIC-insured bank that's the alternative to overreaching, un-American big banks. We stand for privacy, security, and liberty. We stand for freedom, family, faith, and the flag. We stand for all the values you stand for, and for the values big banks can't stand. So help keep banking in the hands of Main Street, not Wall Street. To invest in Old Glory Bank, go to oldglorybank.com.
Guys, stopping looters in your city is not difficult. You know what else isn't difficult? Switching banks over to Old Glory Bank. I did it. You guys should do it too. Support the people who are supporting the parallel economy by going to oldglorybank.com and consider opening an account with them today. That's oldglorybank.com. So, send in the Marines, as they like to say. 700 Marines have been deployed to Los Angeles in a support role amid the crackdown on the anti-ICE protests. We are getting word now at this moment that the Marines have arrived. And I want to be clear that you're going to hear Democrats use words like unprecedented. Unprecedented. They say it all the time. They say it every time Donald Trump sneezes. He's doing something unprecedented. This is unprecedented. It absolutely is. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe the problem is this kind of crap doesn't happen more often. Maybe those federal courthouses in Portland and Seattle wouldn't have been set on fire if Sleepy Joe had removed head from ass. U.S. Northern Command, this from the Post-Millennial, announced on Monday that 700 Marines are being activated to protect federal personnel and property in Los Angeles as the California city has experienced violent anti-immigration riots over the weekend. Quote, U.S. Northern Command has been activated by the Marine Corps Infantry Battalion that has been placed on alert status over the weekend. Approximately 700 Marines in the 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines, 1st Marine Division will seamlessly integrate with the Title 10 forces under Task Force 51, who are protecting federal personnel and federal property in the greater Los Angeles area. Here was CNN reporting it.
We have breaking news now from the Pentagon. CNN can now report that roughly 500 Marines are being mobilized in response to the protests in Los Angeles.
And this is a significant escalation from President Trump, who had activated National Guard troops over the weekend without Governor Gavin Newsom's consent. In this new move, active duty military members are being deployed as a show of force against U.S. citizens. CNN's Natasha Bertrand is live for us at the Pentagon. Natasha, what are you learning?
Well, Brianna, this is something that Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth had previewed over the weekend. He said that if necessary, he would deploy the Marines to Los Angeles to help federal agents with handling the protests there. And it appears now that these Marines, according to our sources, they have been mobilized. These 500 Marines, a full Marine battalion based out of 29 Palms, California, which is just outside San Bernardino, about an hour away from Los Angeles. They have been mobilized and they are gearing up to go and help ICE agents as well as other federal officials deal with these protests in Los Angeles. Importantly, they're going to be bolstering as well the National Guard, guardsmen and women who have been activated in Los Angeles by President Trump. But as you said, it is a significant escalation of the president's use of the military as a show of force against these protesters. It's really not clear, you know, the last time Marines were deployed to help essentially with riot control, though it's unclear at this point just what their actual tasking will be. Typically, if they are deployed to these situations, it is expected that they will operate in much the same way that the National Guard does, doing things like perimeter security, maybe some crowd control. But the rules of engagement here, we are told, are still being finalized, and Defense Department lawyers are also looking at the kinds of rules of engagement these Marines will have as they encounter protesters possibly on the streets of Los Angeles. But again, this coming at a very, very tense moment with the governor of California suing the Trump administration over, of course, the deployment of the National Guard by President Trump against his will there in California.
Now, the reason why I showed you that whole clip, obviously, whoever the hell that lady is, calling them protesters, they're not, they're rioters. The point of that whole thing was the rules of engagement are still being determined. The rules of engagement are still being determined. The rules of engagement. Quick question for all of my Democrats out there. Why would the Marines be engaging with anyone? Why would the Marines have to engage? Why would rules of engagement have to be understood? Unless there was a possibility of people, I don't know, throwing things at them. Why would they need to determine that? They're just going to be standing outside of federal buildings protecting ICE officers. Why would anyone need to worry what's going to happen if they get engaged with? Because I'm told by some of the most brilliant people out there that no violence is even taking place. No violence is taking place whatsoever, so why would we even need to do that?
The protests, and even those who were out of step with what we are advocating, peaceful protest, did not create any violence. Nobody was shot. Nobody was killed. Get it in your head. And so when martial law is called, what are you going to say? I missed the point. Don't miss the point, you all. Don't think that somehow, because they called out the National Guard, there was violence. There was no violence.
Did you guys hear that? The ghost of Christmas past just told you that there's no violence happening. So why would the Marines have to be? Why would they have to, I don't know, come up with rules of engagement in the first place? What could have happened over the last several days? Because according to the ghost of Christmas past, there is no violence. What?
Yeah. Call you later. Good morning.
First off, there's no violence, guys. And then that minute and a half I just showed you, it's not happening. It's not happening. Also, just out of curiosity, I don't know if any of you have been noticing this over the last several days in Los Angeles, but there seems to be a lot more of those kafifis, or whatever they're called, those Palestinian headdresses that apparently only come in one color. There seems to be a lot more of them popping up. I thought that this was about immigration. I didn't know that this had to do with Gaza. Any minute now, it's going to have to do with climate justice or trans rights. Because it turns out these are the same people that do every single protest. And do you know why it's the same people who do every protest? Because until very recently, they have not begun to get the crap beaten out of them. That'd be a real good way. It turns out if you beat the crap out of some of them, they don't show up the next day. You know why? Because they just got the crap beaten out of them. I say this all the time. I say this all the time, and some people get mad at me about this. I think every man growing up ought to get his ass kicked 3 times. 3 times. Once by his dad, once by his best friend, and once by a complete stranger. That way, they know how to act right in public. And they wouldn't be so bemused. They wouldn't be so shocked that when you see a man, long rifle, body armor, that tells you to stop walking, you don't get the crap beaten out of you, as arrests have begun in Los Angeles.
And it leads you to believe
Jason,
that
I'm going
all
to
of Los
interrupt you just
Angeles
for a
was
second
like
because
this.
I want to explain to people what we're seeing on the left side of your screen. It looks like some kind of altercation between law enforcement and an individual in a sort of yellow or neon sweatshirt. One man surrounded by several individuals, and this seems to be a little bit in like a parking lot, a little bit away from the crowds in a way. So it's not clear exactly what's going on there. But as we've been watching the air and we've been going to you and our other reporters in the field, we have not seen a huge number of these types of arrests and incidents happening today. That is not to say that they did not happen over the last few days, but what you're seeing now, this man being walked by law enforcement out of an area, it has been a somewhat unusual sight just for the last few hours of these protests occurring, at least what we've seen on the air.
And Abby Phillip is right. This is an unusual scene. Turns out people are actually getting arrested when they commit crimes. They're actually being arrested. Now, are they being arrested at a rate that I would find to be appropriate? No. That you would find appropriate? No. But at least they are starting. At least they are beginning on some level. And thank God they are. Thank God they are. But don't worry, guys. Don't worry, guys. Because even though you just saw cars on fire, people throwing rocks at the police, even though you just saw that, there's a guy on CNN who, it's not nice to call people fat, but Brian Stelter's an asshole. So, it just sort of fits the narrative. There's some people out there like Brian Stelter saying, don't believe it. Don't believe it, guys. Because these videos may not be from right now. They may be from yesterday.
And I've noticed, Brianna, we all live on our phones these days. We're all scrolling through social media. You've got to be careful at a delicate moment like this to look at the timestamps, look at the dates, look at when things are actually posted, and if they're really from the situation they're purporting to be. A lot of these algorithms are surfacing hours old or even days old content. So you might be looking at a video of something, wondering what's happening in LA. It's actually from 2 days ago. And that's, it only matters because it can give people a false impression of what's actually happening at a moment of unrest.
Watch out for those false narratives, everybody. Watch out, because, that false narrative, if you don't watch, it'll come up and bite you. Or you're an idiot. They could all be false narratives. They could be. They could be. Or maybe there's a reason you were fired from CNN, Brian. Maybe there was a reason for that. I don't know. Maybe it's because you absolutely positively suck at your job. You know who doesn't suck at their job? Mike Lindell.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Guys, beware of false narratives, but you know what is not a false narrative? The fact that you can save up to 80% at MyPillow.com when you use promo code LOUD. Sure, every conservative influencer on the internet has a MyPillow code, but you get even more savings when you use me, when you use promo code LOUD. That's a fact, because I said it. So guys, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. So, the resident potato of CNN has told you, the viewer out there, stay away from false narratives, because you may get something that's from a day or two ago. Now, it doesn't matter that we're currently in the middle of an active scene going on in Los Angeles. It could be from, like, guys, you don't want to get tricked. You don't want to get tricked into seeing video that's like 16 hours old. Because that could really provide with some misinformation. Maybe a little bit of disinformation. If you're not careful, there could be malinformation. Like the fact that 7 police cars had to be left on the freeway because they were so battered and bruised by these protesters that they no longer run. Spoiler alert, everybody, just so you're aware, that video was in fact from yesterday. Which means it's basically over, and we don't really need to talk about it anymore. We don't really got to talk about it anymore. Doesn't matter that some guy shot a mortar through an abandoned police car on the 101 freeway. It might be the 101, I don't even know. All of California's freeways. So, 405, 101. I don't want to sound like a Saturday Night Live skit. That could be from yesterday. I don't know. I don't know. It's like we're doing a damn skit from Spaceballs. When does now happen? Now. When was before? Just then. That's what I'm starting to think. That Brian Stelter got really mad at the people on CNN when they fired him, so now he's coming back on and just going, let me see how dumb I can make this network look at any given time frame. Because there's no way that guy just went on there and gave you that. I showed you yesterday, Brian Stelter explaining to his audience what this new phenomenon is called the UFC. It's only like the second most popular sport in the damn country. You got half the people on television trying to convince me to watch the WNBA, and you got fat-ass Brian Stelter on TV explaining to me the concept of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. With that stupid face he makes. But that was all during the day. And if we know one thing about these rioters and one thing about these people is that if you don't quash them during the day, they own the night. They just do. A protest leads to a scuffle, leads to a bigger protest, leads to more videos, leads to the nighttime, which leads to the looting.
As we take a live look now at downtown Los Angeles, looks like a store is being looted. This looks like a sneaker store, and it wouldn't be the first time. This looks very familiar. We were over this a few years ago during demonstrations and protests in the wake of the murder of George Floyd. And this looks like to me to be the same store that was looted then and maybe being looted again. You saw somebody running into that store. It's 10:27 on a Saturday night. I don't know whether that store was open or not, but it doesn't look good. And we will see what is happening here. People going up and going in, and we'll see if that is in fact happening. There have been lawless elements that have been taking part in this protest, or not taking part in the protest, but perhaps exploiting it for their own ends, like people you see here that are looting this store. They're stealing sneakers, and they're going to be selling them. And they're being caught on video from various locations on both sides of the street. And so there's a good chance that their faces will be recognized and that their little spree of theft will be rewarded with some accountability that will land them in jail. That is what is being promised by the chief, by the mayor, by the sheriff, that people who take advantage, people who are involved in violence, vandalism, theft, will be held accountable. If not tonight, as the mayor just said, it will happen down the road. Don't think you got away with it just because you haven't been arrested yet.
Oh, it'll happen down the road. How far down the road? Because, you know, guys, and I want to be clear, look, guys, what do I know? What do I know? That's one instance, you know, couple bad apples. It's not like there's, you know, a bunch more video of that happening all over the city or anything. I'll be honest with you guys, of everyone we're going to show you rioting, this guy is the one I hope gets the death penalty, okay? Look, you want to steal shoes, you want to steal cars, at least those are valuable, and we're going to show you that in a minute. But this guy, he did it just so he could wave this big teddy bear in the air. Nothing says fighting oppression like stealing $1.50 worth of teddy bear from a store. Alrighty, now we're at the T-Mobile store. There we go. Let's just make a mess for no reason. You got to make sure you have your garbage can set on fire because, you know, then it wouldn't be a real protest. While some guy, for some reason, sprays oh, look, I am your enemy. You're not even, look at you with your little backpack on like a pansy. Like an absolute pansy. Well, let's head on in. Let's see what else is left. Oh, that's right. There's absolutely nothing left because in order to stand up for illegal immigrants, you got to make sure you knock over a T-Mobile store. Or, naturally, look, I know when I'm mad. Look, and I get mad all the time. I do. I get frustrated. You know, I don't like the rules. You know, I think the speed limit is stupid. And I know that when I want to protest, the first thing I'm going to need is a new iPad. the back door, as opposed to the way many of these looters usually do, by taking it in the back door. How long do we wait? How long do we wait before someone has got the balls enough to issue a shoot to kill order? How long? Really? And look, I want to be clear. Do I really care about Apple? I don't. You know, big corporation, whatever. Made in China. I have one, but that's just because I don't want to get a Samsung. Like, do I really care about T-Mobile? No, their service sucks and never gets reception anywhere. Do I really care? Not really. However, you know, the looters, they don't really differentiate between the big corporations and the mom and pops who get a phone call from their neighbors in the middle of the night and get told that their years of hard work have been destroyed by gutless, fatherless cowards. Here we have a little boutique shop. I'm not exactly sure where it is. Shout out to Alia Scootercast and FreedomNews.tv for this video. Here is a little boutique shop. Maybe they, may sold some clothing or something. Yep. Well, they did. We should make sure we put that all in the past tense.
Damn, that's fucked up.
Cameras and neighbors. Called the ring. Has it ever happened before? No. How does it feel that it happens on screen? It's horrible. Years of work.
Years of work. You know how hard that lady probably worked to open up that store? Have something for her own? Destroyed. Overnight. Destroyed overnight by people who do not have the intelligence to build. Therefore, they destroy. Because that's all humans are good at. Humans are good at two things. They're good at building and they're good at destroying. And if you're not good at one, you do the other. And right now, that's what we're seeing cycling through the city of Los Angeles. Here was a jewelry store owner inspecting the damage following a night of rioting.
Yo, not enough. Throw some of that shit out. Y'all not gonna. Hey, what's up? There's more of us than the same thing than them. We can snatch them.
And real quick, I don't know if you guys saw this, right? But this is what I want you to pay attention to. I'm going to play the video again. See if you catch it. See if you catch the little nugget here. I'll try to freeze it at the exact right time so you can see it. One of the saddest parts of this entire thing. Right there. Since 1985. That's 4 years longer than I've been alive. That's a community store, man. That's a shop that made it through 92, made it through the pandemic, made it through the stock market bubble where nobody had any money to buy fine jewelry, made it through the recession, made it through wildfires and all sorts of earthquakes in LA. And it's all gone. It's all gone. Now, idiots, people who have never owned, built anything in their damned lives, will tell you, who cares? They're insured. They're going to get their money back. First off, no, most of the time they don't. And if they do, it's probably after some arduous process, because after we shoot every one of these looters, we should shoot every person who sells insurance. But that's a different show for another day. Act of God. Here's why that's a problem. You think Jack's Fine Jewelry is going to reopen again? Or is Jack going to take his big fat insurance check he gets and move to Phoenix? Or move to Sonoma? Or move to Idaho? And relax with the rest of his family? And then do you know what that shop is going to be? Another smoke shop. Another vape store. Another bodega. Another BS business in a community that does nothing to benefit that community. That's what it's going to be. That store had been open for 40 years. And a bunch of fat 22-year-old lesbians decided to destroy it. But remember, guys, none of this is necessary because
the protests and even those who were out of step with what we are advocating, peaceful protest, did not create any violence. Nobody was shot. Nobody was killed. Get it in your head. And so when martial law is called, what are you going to say? I missed the point. Don't miss the point, you all. Don't think that somehow, because they called out the National Guard, there was violence. There was no violence.
No violence. No violence. These people have no shame. No violence. None at all. Everything you just saw, false narratives. Maybe they're cheap fakes. Maybe Alia Scootercaster and her entire team just went out there and staged a jewelry store robbery in the middle of downtown Los Angeles so she could get some clicks on Twitter. Or you're an idiot. I'm going to roll with number two. Guys, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place because we've got some more juice that I want to get to. We've also got some people out there, some people on the left, making a little bit of damn sense. Stephen A. Smith, I'm going to show you a clip of him. The clip is a minute long, and he makes sense for like 40 seconds of it, and then he goes off the rails, as the most left-wingers do. But he's starting to come around to like, hey, what all is going on? Before we get to that, guys, do me a favor and head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. That is the best way to support this show and everything we've got going on over here. Once again, guys, we got big stuff happening all throughout the next couple of months. Once again, this Saturday, we are going to be at the Kings Park Street Fair. Come on down if you want to get involved in local politics. Also, tomorrow, I will be at the Limbrook Republican Club at the VFW Hall on Merrick Road in Limbrook, New York. Once again, this July 11th, 12th, and 13th, I will be down in Tampa Bay, Florida. And I want to be clear, everybody, the only thing that could get me to go to Florida in the middle of the damn summer is Turning Point USA. You guys are not going to want to miss that out. Guys, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. That is the best way to support this program and everything we've got going on over. I'm going to show you guys this one because this. Look, I'm a child. I'm not really a grown-up. So, like, this is still my favorite shirt. This is still probably my favorite shirt we make. So, look. It's just funny. Sometimes you got to laugh. Sometimes you got to laugh a little bit. LoudMajorityUSA.com. Use promo code RUMBLE to get 20% off everything on the website. So some of the looters were actually picked up last night. The problem is, when you do that much looting, it's never the people who start it who get arrested. It's always the last ones. It's always the fat kid on his way out the door. The fat kid who's not fast enough to get away. It's never the leaders. Stop being gentle. Stop being gentle. Beat the good. Oh, look at that. Look at that Kimura grip right there. That guy does jiu-jitsu. Look at that. That guy doesn't need to. Let's go back a little bit. This guy right here doesn't. Look at that. Look at that. Working. There you go. That guy's been doing his jiu-jitsu. He doesn't need any more training. Crank that arm back. Tear that labrum. Rip that rotator cuff right out of the damn socket. I hope you guys. I really. Why am I showing you this? I'm showing you this not because I think that arresting 4 people is going to make any bit of difference here. Look, they've got all these zip ties. They're not going to end up using them. I'm showing you these clips because I'm enjoying it. I'm showing you these clips because it makes me smile to know that these people, at least for a little bit, are getting the shit beaten out of them. But they've got rights. Yep, well, when you loot a store, you have the right to get your ass kicked. And I have the right to not feel bad for you whatsoever. I just don't. More of that. Billy clubs. I don't want to break my remote. What do I got here? I got something to hit people with? Here you go. Phone tripod. Billy club. I just broke that. Guys, we'll be right back in 1 second. Here's Jeremy.
Hey everyone, I really hope you are enjoying the program today, and I hope you enjoy LFA TV as a whole, because let's face it, we're not getting any younger. However, if there was a way to slow down our aging and live a little bit longer, would we do it? I think we would. You ever heard of Fatty 15, folks? Well, Fatty 15 is a brand new supplement that has C15 in it. You might ask, what's C15? Well, C15 is the first fatty acid to be discovered in 90 years that actually prolongs your life. Over 100 studies over many years were done on dolphins because these 2 doctors were in charge of basically increasing the dolphin population. So they started introducing this fatty acid called C15, and what they found was something amazing. The dolphins were living longer, and the dolphin pods were growing bigger. It was an amazing discovery. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you can get C15 introduced into your life to slow down the aging process of your cells. And it's not only going to make you feel and you look younger, but it's going to make your body think it is younger, which means you're going to start doing more things again. There's a thing called cellular fragility syndrome. And cellular fragility syndrome happens as we get older. This is going to reverse it, folks. Fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA. That is fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA. Get your discount today, folks, and start this new journey to help you live longer. Fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA today. Now, back to the program. Thank you very much.
Before we keep going, I just want to take this time. You see, we have the most attentive audience in the world. And I want to give a big shout out to Sagan McGroin in the chat, who let me know that I don't have to break my remote or the tripod for my telephone. I have a golf set behind me with a 9-iron in it. So I want to thank you for that. Next time I want to use an implement in some sort of beating fashion, I will use one of my irons. Thank you. We gotta laugh a little, right? You gotta laugh a little. So shout out to Sagan McGroin for that one. That's funny stuff. Guys, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Share the we need to send Kevin a big stick. Well, you know what? I'm going to put the live chat up because I'm sure you guys are probably going to have some fun with that. Guys, do me a favor and head on over to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. That's your home base, your mothership, your landing pad for all things LFA TV related. Check out the LFA TV store. And while you guys are there, consider becoming a monthly donor over at LFA TV. You know, we appreciate your Rumble rants that you guys always give the show, the Rumble trains. You guys always do. That's how we keep the lights on over here at LFA TV. You know how much we appreciate it, guys. Boom, hit that donate button on LFA TV. Hit the donate button on Loud Majority. If you would like to support the movement, obviously, I can't tell you how much we appreciate that. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot. I also have a very large... I'm not swinging this, though. This is my Nelson Rockefeller Award I got from the New York City Young Republican Club. Although, I got to be honest with you, this might do more damage than the golf club. That might do more damage than the golf club. But some people, so let's get back to the story, because some people out there are almost making a little bit of sense. And of course, it's the same people that it always is. There's like 3 people on the left who sometimes make a good point, and one of them would be Stephen A. Smith. Now, I want to be clear, Stephen A. Smith is definitely a Democrat. He is definitely of the left. However, I've been watching him my entire life, and he's always been the voice of reason, unless it comes to, like, you know, Michael or LeBron, in which case he's wrong. Here is Stephen A. Smith.
Why the hell are you playing right into the hands of Donald Trump?
And I want to be clear. Stephen A. is on point for the first, 40 seconds of this, and then he makes a serious left turn right around the 40-second mark.
Because I got news for you. On this particular issue, as it involves migrants, immigrants, those who are undocumented, dare we say illegal, in the United States of America, he's winning on this issue. There's a reason he won the popular vote. There's a reason he won the Electoral College vote. There's a reason he won every swing state. There are people within the United States of America that want our immigration crisis addressed and want the situation resolved somehow, some way. And the person that seems eager to bring a resolution to the table is President Donald Trump. Now others may...
Now he makes a left turn into crazy land.
Challenge that, because they may say we had a bipartisan agreement when Joe Biden was in office that Donald Trump convinced the GOP to nix because he wanted to use it as an issue to favor him during the election. Well, damn it, it worked. It worked. And I got news for you, Governor Newsom. It's working now.
You were right there, Stephen A. You were right there. You were making some good points. I had you. All right, I'm listening. Stephen A. coming around the mountain. Come on, all righty, Stephen A. And there he goes. The bipartisan bill that would have let in 5,000 immigrants a day. 5,000 immigrants a day. That's 400,000 over the course of a year. I say no thank you. I say very much no thank you. I say hell no thank you. I say very much no thank you. Because we don't want any. That's why we continue to deport them. That's why we're saying, be gone with you. But he is right. Donald Trump is winning on immigration. And it is the place where he has the most pull among the American people, as we showed on yesterday's show. People are iffy on the economy. They're iffy on inflation. Democrats continue to win in terms of health care. But immigration is the place Trump is winning. It is the number one issue in the campaign. It is the number one issue that he ran on. It is the number one thing that is going to happen for the next 1,000+ days. If you are here illegally, which is a crime, despite what the woman whose husband allegedly robbed Medicaid on The View, said, "You have broken the law. And you have to go home." And even if you hadn't broken the law, even if it wasn't illegal to come here illegally, see what I did there? Even if it wasn't illegal to come here illegally, morally, ethically, culturally, it is wrong to break into someone's home and then just begin taking things. Why? Why? Because we are Americans. And if you want to wave your Mexican flag on the streets of Los Angeles, you can go the hell back. You can go the hell back. I don't care what your reasoning is. I don't care if you're standing up for illegal immigrants. I don't care if Mexico just won the damn World Cup. If you're in America, you should be cheering for Americans. And yes, that goes to all my European friends out there. For all my friends watching this in Queens, I'm sure you all remember what happened in Howard Beach when Italy won the World Cup, and suddenly everybody remembered that like 6 generations ago, someone that they might have been related to was from the boot. There should be no flag, and that includes Ukraine, that includes Israel, and American flags in American streets. That's the next t-shirt. Nicole, put it on a t-shirt. American flags for American streets. Giddy up, let's go. And you know who makes the point very obviously? Who continues to make the point very obviously over and over and over again? Well, of course, hey, we haven't heard from Tucker in a while.
It's core freedoms. And
what do you mean you're against immigration?
We have too much immigration, and we've made the country totally
there's a difference between too much and none.
Well, I'm not against immigration.
You just said
in
that.
theory.
Okay.
We need to shut down all immigration right now until we can retain or regain equilibrium and like figure out what it is that holds us all together as a nation. It's too chaotic. It's too crazy right now. No more people, period. None. Cap it right now, and then just cooling off period. 30 or 40 years.
Cooling off from what? This is all stuff that Trump has stoked as the biggest problem we have.
It is the biggest problem we have, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because it creates chaos and disunity. If you have a continental-sized country like we do, the main question you have always, every day, you're thinking about all day long, how do we hold together? How do 50 states not become 50 countries? I mean, that will naturally happen, right? Because each governor sees himself as Caesar. So how do you keep them cohesive? And the only way to do that is short of force. You could just like get nukes and tell everyone to obey. But short of that, short of becoming a totalitarian country, it's by consent. It's because everybody thinks we're in this together. We're all Americans. We have this in common. And it used to be race and religion. It no longer is. Okay, so what is it? Crickets. What is it? What is it that we all have in common? And no one is even trying to answer that question. And until you can answer that question, you are going to move toward disunity. The drug cartels will take over, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, and they'll be their own thing. And, New England will be its own thing. And, God knows what will happen, but it'll break apart because that's just the nature of people, of human society. So we need a period where we can think through what it is to be an American, what unites us, what's our civic religion. It can't just be everyone's gay. That's not enough. Pride flag is not enough to hold a country together. What is it? And immigration makes it impossible because it's too much churn. Things change too fast. Like, who are these people?
It's how we've populated the country.
Not at this scale. We've never had immigration like this as a portion of population.
And there it is at the very end. Chris, the only brown people I know are the ones who mow my lawn in Sag Harbor, Cuomo. Chris, I decided to pretend for a long time that my brother Andrew wasn't an absolute creep. Cuomo. Chris, I let Don Lemon lash me in the back for the very sin of being white on CNN for like a decade. Cuomo. He says it right there. That's how we populate the country. No, it's not. You populate a country by having children, by raising those children to do one thing, culturally at least. We've always been a country of races and religions, creeds and languages. But we all had one thing in common. And that one thing used to be that we loved America. Yeah, maybe you came from Italy or Spain or Japan or wherever, I don't care. But when you got here, you liked it. When you got here, you wanted to make it better. When you got here, you wanted to be like that woman who spent years working to open a business in Los Angeles, only to see a bunch of fat lesbians and degenerate thugs destroy what she spent years creating. Tucker wants to know what the one thing that used to hold us together was. It was the love of our nation. It didn't matter what your last name was or where it hailed from, how many vowels were in it. Didn't matter how long it was or whether it was simple to spell like Kevin. When you got here, you loved it. When you got here, you at least attempted to learn the language. You at least attempted to assimilate to the culture. I'll give somebody $100 right now if you can tell me what every American has in common, because I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, and it's why we're seeing the shit we're seeing in the streets. And I got to tell you, Tucker's not wrong. Why is Europe a continent and not one country? How do we stop America from disassembling? I don't know. But I wish somebody smarter than me would figure it out. Guys, Will Johnson's coming up next. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. What a great show today. Look, I hate my show every day because I always think I can do better, but I'm really happy with it today. I got to be honest with you. I got to be honest because the day started out real bad. Let me tell you that. Guys, stay tuned for Will Johnson. Until then, everybody, stay loud.